research and discovery. Futurists.
Rush hour on the Champs-Élysées, and a constant stream of traffic flows through the centre of Paris.
Traffic is the biggest source of pollution in Paris.
1 in 5 French people live in the Paris region.
More than 20 cities already have a population of more than 10 million, and this trend will continue further.
Paris is on that list of 20 so-called megacities. The French capital is now the focus of a broad European Union research project to trace the impact on the atmosphere and climate of the pollution above our streets.
We want to find out what happens to pollution not just on an urban scale, but on a much wider scale. What we're interested in is the impact of emissions or pollution of one city on a continental scale, or even further, on a global scale.
To understand city pollution, first you have to head out of town.
We're driving with our mobile lab, and as we're driving, we're measuring the composition of the air, the particles and gases it contains.
In this field on the northeastern edge of Paris, Frank Drevnik is measuring the background air pollution flowing into the city from other parts of Europe. The team needs an isolated spot and even park their generator wagon 100 meters away to avoid picking up particles from the engine. Now they can take a clear reading of particles and gases that are blown here from far away.
The particle emissions are coming from the Benelux countries. That's the nearest source. But a big part is coming from Eastern Europe, where a lot of coal-fired power plants are emitting a lot of sulfur dioxide into the air.
Back in the city, and the project is in full swing. Matthias Beekman and project coordinator Alexander Baklanov are in the middle of a winter session of data gathering. They'll compare the readings with pollution data gathered over a 1-month period last summer. The instruments here on the roof of a lab in central Paris are operating 24 hours a day, tracking what are known as organic aerosols.
Aerosol is dust, very fine particles which float in the air and which man breathes in. That's why it's bad for one's health. Organic means the aerosol is made up of chemical elements like carbon, oxygen and hydrogen.
This Irish team has joined the massive 1-month fieldwork campaign. Their spectrometer identifies pollution particles from cars, heating systems and wood fires. When a strong westerly wind blows, they even pick up particles of sea salt from the Atlantic. Their research is on a very local scale, and the changes in air quality reflect the rhythms of daily life.
The cleanest period is always kind of 3-4 o'clock in the morning, because you don't have much activity, you know, people aren't doing anything. So you see a large spike at kind of 7 o'clock in the morning for the traffic rush, and then a lull kind of in the mid-afternoon, and then a big spike again for 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock.
The particles and gases emitted by cars or factories stay in the air, some for days, others for hundreds of years. And they can have an impact well beyond their immediate surroundings.
Une particule émise par une voiture, par exemple,
A particle emitted by a car, for example, can be taken up vertically into the atmosphere, into the surrounding air, and rise up to hundreds of meters, even a kilometer depending on the season. There's more in summer than in winter. Then it can be carried along by the wind for hundreds or even thousands of kilometers.
Sur des centaines, voire des milliers de kilomètres.